Scott, review guys. The Smackdown crew takes over Raw. In a show, it really wasn't too bad. It was all right, but you could kind of tell they were thrown for a loop. You could kind of tell things were a little bit off kilter. One thing, though, ruined it for me. Because for the second time in a Smackdown television taping, if we want to call that this, John Morrison, available, not injured, most likely. Probably in the building. No word. Don't know where he is. And this bothers me. I'm a little worried he's going to say, I'm being misused. I'm going to TNA. That's it. And then TNA, you know, they don't know what to do with anybody. I mean, they only like old people and fat people and people who can't move. That's all they like. I'm speaking truth to power. Well, so here's what I'm doing in honor of John Morrison to lift my spirits. I'm taking my John Morrison action figure. I'm going to place it on top of my TV set. That way, if the WWE will not put John Morrison on TV, I will at least have John Morrison on my TV. You see how that works? We call that making lemons out of lemonade. Wait a minute. No, anyway. You know what I mean. So, as I said, a bit of a thrown together feel. Triple H does a little thing. CM Punk comes out, talks about shaving his head. He's going to shave Triple H's head, but then out comes Rey Mysterio, who grabs the clippers and cuts off a little bit of CM Punk's hair. That's a drastic move. Let's talk for a second about that. Extreme Rules. I feel like Punk is at a point. There's always this point, you see, the peak where the storyline, where the character reaches its zenith, where in a perfect world they would end the story, end it all, they would end it on a high note. Normally they let it drag on and on and on, and so I was kind of thinking, where along that line is Punk and the Straight Edge Society right now? And I don't think they're at the peak. I think they're very close, but I still think we got some mileage out of this, and I still think that it's good enough that we need to keep it going and keep it running. So I hope Punk doesn't get shaved at the Extreme Rules. He very well might. I kind of feel like it's leading up to that, but yeah, I just kind of feel like if Ray wins, this kind of draws an end to what's really going very well for Punk and very well for SmackDown. So, my opinion there. But we'll see Punk later in the evening. Drew McIntyre comes out, and I'm thinking this is where John Morrison is going to come out. He's going to do his wonderful little comedy routine where he speaks in German. But no such luck. Instead, we get Matt Hardy. Oddly enough, at some point, we hear... The New Jersey crowd is very unusual. I think they're an angry people, those New Jerseyans. With all due respect. Please, don't attack me. I don't need that. But, they just weren't reacting the way they should have reacted. The way that a good people... I'm making too many enemies. I really am. You know, I love everybody. You know that, right? But yeah, so somebody is a chant, "Let's go Hardy," and then the response, "Hardy sucks," comes back. Now Hardy might indeed suck, but you don't say that. You just don't. It's just wrong. But nevertheless, Drew McIntyre wins. So maybe Matt Hardy does suck. I don't know. Not stellar match in my opinion. We got some pre-taped promos throughout the night. We had Cena, we had Orton. So McGruber comes out, and I won't rehash all of this. In fact, if I don't, we're not going to have a lot to talk about. But so there was a McGruber blows up R-Truth, which was kind of funny. I got to say, that guy that plays McGruber, Will something or other, I think is his name. Forte! Will Forte, is that his name? Funny, very funny. Kristen Wiig, brilliant. So that was good. So even though I don't like the McGruber concept, I still like Will Forte and Kristen Wiig. Let's see, then what happens next? So we see backstage McGruber, there's a pee-pee pants thing with Kane. And we said, what's that? Oh, okay, I'll tell you my Kane story. Did you see the Smackdown review? I told you it would work, though, didn't I? My Kane story is, while Kane's in his match Friday night, Matt Stryker says that when Kane was a child, his house burned down. The only thing that was saved is the one glove that Kane wears. Have we ever heard this story before? I've never heard it. Is this something that's supposed to be well known? Because that glove, number one, does not look like the glove that a child would wear. If he's indeed a monster, he might have had giant hands as a child. He might have had adult hands. I don't know. But that glove does not look like it's been around that long. I'm just saying. Matt, if we've never heard the story before, Matt, you're just going too far. You need to just back down. So that's that with Kane. Okay, excitement for me. Jack Swagger is seen and is introduced, and he comes out to the ring, and he starts talking. Right? The first time ever, I thought to myself, now that looks like a champion. I don't know what it was. The way he carried himself. I think he had a new little outfit, onesie. Is that what they call those? I think it was new. I don't think I've seen black and gold, is it? Whatever it is. Anyway, whatever's happened to Jack Swagger, it came together. He's gelled all of a sudden. Don't know. But anyway, he issues an open challenge. Who's it going to be? It's The Undertaker. Undertaker comes out. They start a match. If I'm being honest, with all due respect to both parties, not the greatest match. It didn't. I think their chemistry was off. It just wasn't amazing. But I will say, even though Jack Swagger was being beaten up through most of it, even when he was losing, he just looked great. I don't know what happened. So this gives me a little bit of hope that his match with Orton will probably be good. And if he wins, I think he's got it. I think he's got something. I don't know. Again, it just happened over the last couple of days. I don't remember this on SmackDown, but it really came together. So good for you, Swagger. Good work. Keep it up, my friend. He's not really good. Okay, Kozlov and McGruber. Out comes Ryan Phillippe. Nice to see Ryan Phillippe. Haven't seen him since Cruel Intentions. I'm glad he's making a big comeback in a big, serious Hollywood motion picture. Gruber. He introduces the great Khali. So I guess if Raw cannot dress up a midget in funny clothes, they will dress up a giant in funny clothes. That's comedy. That's how it works. It was kind of silly. I kind of wish they wouldn't have done it. Then finally, Sheamus, in one of his little things, Sheamus is a snappy dresser. All right? Irish people, does this get you back on my side when I tell you that Sheamus really, that fella, see, I used his word, he knows how to dress. But he beats up somebody. Triple H, Ray, Edge versus Punk, Gallows, and Jericho. Standard fare for your let's throw every star we have in every star but one in a match to end it all. Strong showing. Next week is the draft. Let's talk draft very quickly. I love SmackDown. SmackDown, I feel, is my show, I hope they don't mess up SmackDown. That's all I care about, really. I feel that if you take Morrison, Ziggler, Truth, who else? There are a couple of stars that I believe are on the cusp of greatness. I feel like if you pull them from SmackDown to Raw, Raw is where rising stars go to die, I'm afraid. So, hopefully, they won't mess with any of my favorites from SmackDown, and I really can't think of anybody that I would want pulled from SmackDown. I can think of a couple that they could move over. I kind of wish they would just cancel the draft. Say, guys, we listened to review guy Scott, and we decided just not this year. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to try to beef up SmackDown for their sci-fi debut. Who's to say, really? Who's to say? Well, that's about all I've think to say. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it short. I'll say good night, adios, and we'll talk to you very soon.